justice.
It's not like a lizard like Jessica.
No, like just a snake with legs.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the I Tap That Cigar Show, presented by Corona Cigar. I'm your host, Kevin Shahan from Cigar Prop, and I am coming to you live from the Drew Estate Experience Asset Studios here on the sunny Gulf Coast of Florida. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Kerr Viajante of Stogie Road Cigars.
Kev, how you doing?
Not too bad. In the green room, we've been chatting for like 20 minutes. You did not say anything about my beard. I dyed it today.
Well, I think I was going to say something because it was noticeable when your hat was off.
Yeah.
And then Jessica was around, so it feels like it's been forever and a day since I've spoken to Jessica.
Yes.
And then our guest popped on. We started chatting, and then I got killed away. I got called away to kill a snake. And then by the time I got back, you were in the bathroom, so I did not.
Kevin needs to now do the top of his head because he's growing his hair long. And I noticed, I was like, wow, your hair color looked just like your beard before you dyed it. Now your beard is dark as shit and your hair is gray.
Yeah, that's why I wear it. Yeah, it's kind of, I choose a little darker color because I know it'll fade just a shade or two after a week. So thank you to Simpler Hair and Beard. There is a link in the video description below. If you would like to try Simpler Hair and Beard, it's what I use, and you should use it too. And in the background there is producer Jessica. Jessica, say hello.
Hello.
So she took a little hiatus last week because she was working.
No, I wanted to take a hiatus today too because I'm tired as shit. Because I literally get home at like 6:15 and have to like rush to eat and do this. So my life has been turned upside down. But
call Jessica the ambulance.
But I'm sucking it up and
see, yeah, that's what happened last week. Jessica wasn't here, and we went like 3 hours with Boston Jimmy.
Well, because
we just ended that show like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Also because it's another sister of the leaf. So I thought it was my duty to get on.
Yes.
Just a duty.
Yeah, just a duty. So, all right, let's get right into the CigarMedics humidimeter, cut and light. Remember with the CigarMedics humidimeter, my camera's really up high today. Remember the CigarMedics humidimeter, you always know when to hold them and know when to smoke them. Kara, what are you smoking tonight?
I'm smoking the OG. Here, I'll get it really close so you can see the awesome band.
Look at that. Sir Mike Bruscar, real good trash from Trash Panda Cigars.
Yes. I do love the band. I told you that before. Big fan of the band, just needs some rearranging, but it pops. You just gotta do some rearranging so it pops more.
I appreciate that. Jessica, what are you smoking tonight?
I am smoking the Gurkha Cellar Reserve.
Yeah, you're smoking
this one.
Yeah, you're smoking the Cellar Reserve 15.
15. Yeah.
So I can't remember if the 15 or 21 was my favorite. One of those two. I like them all. If you want to, I don't know if those are some of the ones that YouTube let me keep on there. I did all the Cellar Reserve series, and I am smoking everybody's favorite Gurkha, no matter if you're young or old. Well, not too young, above 21. Is the Ghost.
Oh,
everybody loves the Ghost.
I saw that you snagged that one, and I was going to take it, and I was like, all right.
Yeah. So, Kara, what was your humidity level at?
60%.
Oh, mine was 62% on the CigarMedics humidimeter.
And this cigar has been sitting in a nice, perfect aging drawer. Cedar aging drawer. It's just, I'm excited about smoking this tonight.
Yeah, it's funny. Jessica had brought up in the background of the show, Rocky Patel. This Ghost has been aging with a bunch of Rocky Patels. For probably a year.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know where my
I think I actually am smoking 15, the Cellar Reserve 15 Maduro.
Oh, okay. So, all right. And then, as always, each week we remind everybody, we said we had Boston Jimmy on the show last week. Remember, he is climbing Mount Fuji. So, to help fund autism research. So that link is in the video description below. Also, in the video description below, I posted it on Instagram, I posted it on Twitter, I posted on my personal Facebook page. My niece Haley is trying to get her drag racing team. She is a junior dragster. Haley is 17 now. Been racing for a couple of years, trying to get her team to the Eastern Conference Finals in Bristol, Tennessee. So in the show notes is her mom's Venmo, and then her email. If you want to PayPal $1, $2, $3, I would definitely appreciate. I donated. The business donated, so let's try and help get my niece Haley, superstar in the junior drag racing world. Absolutely, so proud of what she's accomplished.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Yeah, her brother, my nephew Peyton, he turned 18, and he got to finish out last season, so he can no longer race junior dragsters. So he'll be moving up to real dragsters and real big boy race cars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he'll be doing that, and that's where all the money's at. So and spending it, not winning it.
Yeah.
Junior dragsters are smaller, still tens of thousands of dollars a year to operate, but the regular dragsters can be tens of thousands of dollars per race, to operate. So. All right, so
have you ever gone to not a drag show, but a drag strip race?
I lived at them for a number of years. I raced back when I was 17, 18. So we raced a little bit, but yeah, we lived Gator Nationals, Gainesville. We were at the tracks all the time. This is going back like a decade now. I almost cost probably more than that, probably 15 years. Almost cost John Force to crash. He, I wouldn't get out of his way, and he almost crashed his little scooter into me, and he kind of like ran into like this little tent. Luckily, he was okay. But yeah, I could have taken him out for that whole race. Probably cost him millions of dollars. So,
jeez.
Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been a couple times. We were just back in our area was mostly dirt track racing.
I've never been to a dirt track race. So
sprint cars were like all the last sprint car race I went to. Actually, Tony Stewart still races. He was racing that night.
Yeah, he still. I don't know if he still does today or not. I know he's old as fuck, but
that's where AJ Foyt got his start too.
A lot of them did. So one day I'll make it to one. So, all right, before Jessica starts snapping her fingers, because you're about the 8-minute mark. Before we bring on our guest tonight, we want to take a moment to thank all of our show partners for making this happen each and every week. So thank you to JC Newman Cigars, CigarMedics, Amendola Cigars, We Are the Muscle, Jake Wyatt Cigars, Illusione Cigars, deep in flavor, deep in your mind, K by Karen Berger Cigars, Corona Cigar, and of course, Drew Estate and Experience Acid. All right, so waiting patiently in the Experience Acid Green Room is Tanya Graham, regional sales manager for Gurkha Cigars. Tanya, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Like we said before the show, Gurkha Wani was talking you up last time I spoke with him, and we're glad to get you on here on the show. I forgot how short Juan was. I saw him down at the Great Smoke. He's such a presence. He's kind of a short guy. So I don't know why I brought that up. I say dumb shit all the time.
Great.
This is why. Remember before the show, I said like those other media guys, they like say things about me. That's why. It's because I say shit like Juan is short, But then again, I'm 6'1", so I'm a little tall. So with that being said, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
Where are you coming from? It looks like a beautiful, from the picture from behind you. It looks like a
my
place.
Zebra.
Yeah, your zebra.
I have zebras around, so that's my thing. But I'm home in Georgia, Marietta, Georgia.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Marietta. Yeah. My brother-in-law was I think lives in Marietta, or ex-brother-in-law. I don't know what it is. We like Atlanta. We can't get way back. Do you know if they opened up the new shark exhibit at the aquarium yet?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, we were there like 2 years ago, and at the Georgia Aquarium. Have you ever been there yet?
Not yet. I need to do some more things, like off things. I'm always on, so I need to.
I cannot believe the aquarium. I mean, it's like,
how many things do you actually do in Florida? Please,
there have been several times I've driven the 7 hours just to see the aquarium.
Okay, whatever.
It is absolutely amazing.
I keep saying I want to go to the parks and go check out different things. I will soon.
Yeah, parks are parks are overrated. It's hot out there. The museum's got AC.
There's no sharks at the park.
Yeah, there's no.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a little overwhelming though when you're in front of that glass and that whale shark, one of the four, come and swims by you. It's a little scary.
Tanya's only a couple hours from me.
Where are you?
Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay, yeah,
just
a couple hours. I go to South Carolina all the time.
Yeah, right on 85. Pop on there, and we're in Atlanta, I think, in about 2.5 hours.
Yep, exactly.
Have you been to the aquarium there, Kerr? You're only 2 hours away.
No, I don't have the passion for aquariums like you do, Kev.
I don't know. So this has been the I Tap That Cigar Show presented by the Georgia Aquarium. The Georgia Aquarium. Very large whale sharks. And then
it is actually a very impressive aquarium.
It is very impressive. They're supposed to have some new shark exhibit. So that's what
that's what I hear.
Kevin is all about that.
I am. So
are you a Shark Week fan too, Kev?
It's all fake. I hate Shark Week with Discovery.
Shark Week's about as real as the hole.
Manny with the Oak Island. Do you watch? Is Manny on yet? Do you watch Oak Island, the TV show, Tanya?
I don't watch TV. Really.
Okay, so when Manny chimes on, someone just type in a no. She does not watch Oak Island.
Sure Manny already chimed in.
Oh, did he?
He said, "I forgot today was Monday," and then he said, "I still have your bag of buttons."
Okay, so I know what he means by that. So let's dive right in. You've only been with Gurkha Cigars 2 years now. I think next month will be 2 years, your anniversary, correct?
Correct.
So that is all I know about you right there. So I told you before the show, you're getting ready to celebrate your 2 years. Now from everything here, I don't know anything about you. What were you doing before Gurkha? Like, were you in the cigar industry, tobacco?
I was working at a cigar shop that I'd been at for 3 years. And I'd worked one before that. So 7 years in cigars retail. I was also a police officer in Baltimore City.
Get out, really?
Yeah.
How long?
16 years and 2 years investigations that I did afterwards.
You don't happen to know Robert Mitchell, do you?
I do know Robert Mitchell. Very good friend.
I went to college with Robert Mitchell and played football with him.
That's crazy.
Rob,
it's crazy.
Very good friend. Very, very good.
He's a great guy.
Oh, I love Robert.
Good friend of mine. I haven't seen him in a long time, but I still follow him on social media.
Yeah. Yep.
What a small world, isn't it?
That's
You know,
That and Leo,
Very
who owns the Burnt Leaf.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time up there for work and spent a lot of time going into Burnt Leaf and hang out with those guys. And he's another top notch guy.
I used to go there every once in a while. It seemed like it was
Yeah.
kind of out of the way a little bit, but yeah.
the only lounges I know, because my buddy Lee Mac 912 is always talking about. I forget the lounge. It's on the Pulaski Highway. Always
Dan's.
Dan Cigar
Dan's.
Lounge.
Dan
Cigar.
Healy.
On the Pulaski Highway. I'm like, one day I'm gonna go and drive the Pulaski Highway and take a photo for Lee Mac and be like, I am on this highway.
They would have had some stories about me there.
Oh, would they? Oh,
We'll have to have Dan on sometime. He's another one too, who's just a fantastic human being. He's
Is
just
he?
a great guy. Oh God, he's awesome.
oh, you'll have to we'll have to write that name down and
Yeah.
and we'll
Dan
have to have-
Sawali, he's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm friends. That name sounds familiar. I think we're friends on
Yeah.
Facebook. One of those. It's always you never put two and two together of who the person is, and then you're like, wait, that's who I've been talking to like the whole time. And
Yeah.
the guy's like famous, so weird.
Great dude.
Such a
So,
small world.
It is. We talked about my niece Haley, and then my buddy Jason Hawkins. He lives up in Ohio. He had chimed in on that post, like, "Hey, I wonder if he knows my nephew that like races wherever up there." And then so he tagged that guy's mom, and then like, yeah, we know Haley, and I'm like, what this weird little circle that everybody knows everybody. So
so weird.
but what made you retire from the police department?
This job, I had to do it, to take a chance and do it. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Probably not the easiest department. Baltimore, God, 16 years. I hear not, I don't. Jessica's giving me that look like, don't say it, Kevin. Don't say it.
The
hear.
Wire. No. Yeah, it's a crazy place,
That's just because my son is also thinking about moving there when he gets out of the army to finish going to school there, and I keep telling him, be careful, please, because I don't know what part he actually wants to live in, but he's even said when he's been there for schooling for the army, it's crazy there.
Yeah, it's a different mentality. I'm from New York, so it was just getting used to. It's a northern state, but very southern. Everyone knows everyone. It is a different mentality where in New York we mind our business. You live your life, you do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And there, everybody's in the mix with everybody else's stuff, which is why there's so much issues because, obviously they got too much time. So it's like, everybody. I don't have that kind of time. Like, do you talk to your neighbors?
No.
Yeah.
So I don't talk to them enough to have a fight with them. I couldn't pick them out in the lineup.
Yeah. I know. I talked to all my neighbors this morning. They forgot to put their trash cans out, so
Really?
I took their trash cans up for them.
You that guy.
He never. I don't know who this person is. Like, he texted me that, and I was like, "What?"
I just happened to be outside, smoking a cigar, and the trash truck drives by, and then all my neighbors are rushing out with their cans, and I'm like, y'all missed him, but he'll be back on my side of the road in a couple of hours. So they put them all in front of my house, and then I took them up later on. So that guy, coming dumping all these cans, like, what the hell's going on here?
That's nice of you. Very nice of you.
Yeah, see, Jessica, not all heroes wear capes.
John.
So, yes.
John Belly. Hi, John.
Yeah. Hey, what's
earlier?
Oh, what's going on, John?
People chiming in.
Oh, the one half of the winning Giannis's.
He lives in
Yeah.
Georgia.
Anthony and Peter. Yeah, I can pick them out of the lineup. They're at all the events.
Yes.
Oh,
They're lucky. They
literally win
luckiest
everything.
Two brothers ever to win.
I know they're
win so much.
crazy. They do.
But it's
win it.
Yeah, but it's probably like the same people that win like the scratch off. What we don't see is the 10,000
losses.
contests that they don't.
You never
win.
hear about the losses.
Yeah,
That's
they
true.
only. That's it. They only give the big ones they win.
That's funny.
So, did you say you're from New York originally?
Yep.
So, born and raised.
Born and raised in the Bronx.
Oh, right on. Then moved to Maryland to become a cop.
Yep. I moved to Maryland, then found out they were hiring, and then I ended up getting on the police force there.
So then you worked you retired, 16 years, worked at a couple lounges. And then how does Gurkha fit into this mix of getting the job at Gurkha?
So I went down to Florida for a trip with Protocol Wine Cancel, who's good friends with Wani, and was taking me around the different factories. And so Gurkha was one of them. I went to Alec Bradley, Davido Camacho, Fuente, and I left. I smoked cigars, drank their booze in their nice little lounge, and went home. And Cookie and Steve Cook and Juan came up to Baltimore to do an event. And he asked Mina, who owned the shop up there, who has since passed away, if she knew me. And she said yes. And she called me. She was like, the VP of Gurkha is here to see you. And I was like, you're full of shit. She was like, no. I was like, okay, I'm at the gym. I'm on my way. So, of course, let Juan tell it. I flew down there. I left the gym.
Yeah.
And he's, we said, he's like, I'm here to offer you a job. I was like, what? So, and I said, he was hiring me for a different area, St. Louis. And I said, fuck yeah, I'll take it. It's time to go. It's a whole lot of things. I just wanted to get out of Baltimore, really. And I took it. And so he said, you got to move to St. Louis. And then Ken left from this area. And then he called me a couple of days later and said, what do you think about staying on the East Coast? And I said, same answer. I'm out. He said, you got to move to Atlanta. I said, okay. So craziest thing I ever did, I think. But I love it.
Oh, and then Juan just, I can't even imagine how much alcohol the two of those guys consumed in each sitting. I mean, oh my God. It's nuts.
That's a handful.
They are a handful at that. So you're working in a lounge, which is obviously you've had a little bit of experience with reps, but I really never talked to I talk to reps, and I'm friends with reps. What is like your training like on Gurkha's training? I don't know if it's the same across all the boards. But what is your training? Juan hires you. You're going to be the new rep in St. Louis. Like what does that entail?
I had no sales experience with this type of job. He did not care. He didn't say, so as far as training goes, it was like, you're in a fire. He called me. He's like, okay, we're going to fly you down to Florida to do an interview. He was like, oh, scratch the interview. We're going to send you a credit card. They send me a credit card. Then a month later, they're like, well, we need to verify who you are. I'm like, I'm using this Amex like it's mine. Now you want to know who I am? I'm like, what? So he's like, yeah, doing I-9 electronically. I'm like, I'm a caveman. I don't even know how to do this. They're like, you got to figure it out. So it was very weird, how you were just thrown out there. So I'm out there. He's like, here's a list of your customers. Just start calling people. So I start calling people. And where's Ken? I like Ken. I'm like, oh, I'm your rep now. So and then I started showing up and meeting people, and it was definitely very strange. No training. He said, I'll see you in a week or whatever. Memorize the cigars. And I'm like, what? I got homework. So then he quizzed me on it, a little bit. I knew what I knew. He filled in the blanks, whatever. And then you just was out there. There really is no training for it. You just got to do it. And basically it was you're a stranger, you showing up. Nobody really wanted to hear anything I had to say. I got thrown out of a shop, whatever. And then, Juan's like, you're just too up northern. You need to be more southern, Recently, he's like, you're wearing the sunglasses into the shops. It's disrespectful in the South. I'm like, whatever. But yeah, so you're just learning how to just really talk to people, and finding some connection, but you really was no training at all. So, and eventually people start to like you or break down those walls and barriers and say you're different. You are the same. And, so I thought I was going to a territory that was going to be like, quote unquote, quote, all black, but it's not the case at all, actually, So it was, getting used to all different kind of people, all different kind of cultures and, talking to them. And you can't, I guess when you're new, you're going to be softer. I know. But then you have to start putting up those, like Juan says, having value in yourself where you know, don't put up with so much.
I guess my question would be though too, did you find it also tough because you're a woman in the cigar industry?
And you weren't Ken, you know?
Yeah, but that was one of those things where I walk into a shop and I'm like, hey, hello, I'm Tanya with Gurkha Cigars. And someone says, you know, do you even smoke cigars? I'm
yeah.
Like, okay, yes, I've been smoking 23 years, but thank you. But you know, you get the quizzes. You know, people would quiz you initially. You know, what's your cigar?
Sure,
what do you smoke? What do you smoke? To make sure, you know, I could even listen to anything you had to say. So now sometimes
you got fans. You got
Chrissy Critchfield.
You got
Chrissy.
Ronnie.
Hi, Chrissy.
You got
Ronnie, and you know, I'll tell you that there's nothing that pisses me off worse than somebody trying to quiz another cigar smoker when they don't know what they're talking about. And I've seen it in lounges. I've seen it on interviews, you know, and they're like, oh, you smoke cigars? And they're like, well, tell me about this. Or I'm like, why are you going to make that person, male or female, go through that? And I'm like, I know you don't know shit about cigars. You know, it's just, it's
oh yeah, they do it all the time. And I wasn't just getting quizzed on my cigar acumen. It was getting quizzed on, political stuff, just people are just weird. And I was just like, listen, I don't care if you spend the money. That's what all this other conversation you want to have. And it's like, really was outside of the box of what we would talk about in a lounge, really, or the etiquette of talking in the lounge. But
yeah,
I think shop owners wanted to, you know, find out what side of the fence I was on, if they were going to support me or whatever the case may be. So
that's it. Like political, like, well, I'd be like, well, what are you? Because I'm that. I'm that.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly,
I'm that too. Yes. You know, I'm
it's the capital of Idaho.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll change the subject. I'm like, what do you think about that? What's that guy's name again? Who's what's his name? And they're like, yeah, they'll mention the name, and I'm like, yeah, him. What do you think about?
yeah.
First of all, I don't even know who the president is. Right? I got time for that.
Yeah. I ain't got time for that. You know, you said you've been smoking 23 years. You know,
yeah.
Where did you get your start? Was your parents, aunt, uncle, grandfather, or there's always a story who got you into cigars?
No, I was at a cookout, and another officer gave me a cigar, a Hoya de Nicaragua. I heard that Wani on his interview. That was his first cigar. It was my first cigar, Hoya Nicaragua Grand Consul, and he gave it to me. I just showed up, and they were outside smoking, and he said, "You smoke a cigar?" I was like, "No." He said, "Don't inhale." Well, all this stuff is foreign. You don't have any clue what they mean if you don't smoke at all. I don't know what inhaling was, so I took puffs and started coughing. He's like, put your arms up, you know. and then I got like probably it felt like 5 minutes, but I was nauseous, and I started sweating, and then instead of running from it, I wanted to know more about it. So I started like reading about it, reading Cigar Aficionado, reading all, you know, Cigar Press and all the different magazines, and I went to Nicaragua, went to Dominican Republic, went to Cuba. I dove in, you know, so I wanted to know more. I was like, is this legal? He was like, no, it's totally legal. But I felt high. You know? And I didn't have any liquor.
The nicotine.
Yeah.
The nicotine. Yeah, that's sick. That's sick that's a bad sick.
It is. It's like being seasick. It don't go away very easy.
No. He was like, have a drink. He gave me some blue drink, and I drank that. And I guess if you get drunk, you feel better. So. But I've only had that happen a handful of times. That cigar, but I've smoked it since. It doesn't seem like it's as strong, or maybe my palate, of course, has changed. The Digger got me a couple times.
I haven't had a Digger yet. I just smoked that Grand Consul again, maybe a couple weeks ago. Great cigar. I love that Grand Consul. But yeah, the Digger, haven't had that one. That's one Saka always talks about being a good full-bodied cigar. You know, but that's LFD though. They make some powerhouse.
They make some powerhouse. Like you can't. I don't even know. And I think at one point I was trying to go strong, and then now I do kind of like a gradual thing during the day. I'll start light and work my way up to something more fuller as the night goes on.
Now I haven't had this Pure Evil yet. Jessica's rep. The Pure Evil. Is this a strong? Because it looks scary on the band. Is this a really strong, powerful cigar?
Well, when you got the Nicaraguan tobacco, you're gonna get that spice, and a lot of people
Yeah.
say it's either something they don't like or people love it. So when we had it at the show, it was really new, and people got it, and they were like, I was like, don't smoke it right away. It's new. I was like, just let it sit. And some people lit it right away, and they were like, oh, the spice, I love it. And I'm just like, okay, well, if that's your thing, you know.
It's a
What-
Jessica cigar, Kev.
Yeah,
It's a good cigar. Dave at
I
the
don't know.
lounge
Ronnie's
here
saying
gave it to me when he
it's-
got back from the event, and it's Ronnie's right. It looks scarier than it is. It's actually got some spice to it, but it's smoother than what you would
Yeah.
expect it to be.
Yeah.
What has been your feedback on the name? Because Abe at Smoke Inn on his show, the KMA, and I think it had just come out, and he goes, I don't know if we'll stock that cigar. He goes, I'm not too fond of the name. Like, Abe, what pure evil? He's like, yeah, I don't know about that.
What?
You know, yeah, that's shocked.
I heard that.
I guess we had an evil that was okay, but pure evil was
Yeah, pure evil. You know, that's just, you
a little
know.
too far now.
Have you heard any other lounge owners say that? You know,
No. My areas, everybody is fine with it. Actually, people think that it should have been more of a powerhouse with a name.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
now people are looking for darker. So they're like, oh, it's light colored. You know, the shade of the cigar is light. You know, for it to be a pure evil, they're expecting something more like the ghost. But we have the ghost, so you know.
Yeah, I would have thought when I finally saw one when I saw one at the show last year, he didn't have any on him, and he was super busy, so I wasn't going to wait around for him to go find one. But when I finally got one, I'm like, oh, I expected it to be a darker, you know, more sinister looking cigar. But as you know, just because a cigar is dark does not mean it's powerful. You know, it could be a lighter, you know.
Well, it's the same thing with a lighter cigar. Might not be like a very mild.
Yeah. There's some
Typical
powerful,
Connecticut
you know,
dark.
light colored
definitely.
cigars.
Yeah, I was saying the old rules were that kind of applied, but now
Yeah.
people have all kind of trickery with the blending and the making of their cigars, where you know it's you got Mexican hybrids and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, it looks like a Connecticut, but it's full body, and then people putting Ligero in their Connecticut shade cigars. So, but that was something people really didn't do. But now you got to experiment and try different things. So there's so many different levels of just not mild, medium, and full. You got mild plus. You start hearing something more mild plus, or medium plus. You got all those things.
All those in between, yeah, medium plus, medium
Yeah.
mild, mild, medium. It's just, and then everybody has their scale. You go into a lounge and you see like the tachometer. It's, but one man's strong is another man's. Like Ronnie, he's in the chat panel tonight. Hey, Protocol Cigars 1 is joining us. We were just talking about you.
Hey, Juan.
So what's going on, man? And but yeah, Ronnie had mentioned before sometimes, that cigar would be too strong for you, Kevin. And then I'll smoke it and it'd be, not that bad. Ronnie's kind of a puss sometimes. He's got a little bit of a lighter palate.
You have a lighter palate too, though. Sometimes
You do,
like-
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like my.
And I remember the time when I came home and I saw a trail of clothes and there was a little bit of throw up and you were like passed out in the bed, and the next morning you're like, a cigar kicked my ass.
I had a cigar kick my ass. Had to take off all my clothes.
Was that instead of putting down some rose petals, Jess?
Yeah.
In the bedroom.
I was like, what is going on? And like,
romantic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's like, ooh, and then
clothing, a little bit of puke.
Yeah, a little bit of
Yeah, and he was like sweating in his sleep. I was like, man, what is happening?
It was,
Do it to you.
like Tanya said a couple times, it's probably been maybe like 4 or 5 times in my life. It's I've had a cigar really kick my ass. Partagas twice. Both times I've thrown up is because of a Partagas. Yeah.
The only time a cigar made me feel that bad was when there was some unfermented tobacco in there, and it really hit me that hard. You could taste the ammonia, and it just hit me that hard that I got that sick. That was it.
There's only been like 1 or 2 times where it once crept on me, and I was like, ooh, here it comes, and then I just like stopped. I was like, nope, I'm not. This is not happening to me. And that happened to me that one time with when Amendola
gave us a
like,
pre-release.
And it was.
And
it was. God, I was gonna die.
Yeah, it was pretty strong. But but I'm sure like Tanya, now when you know when that's we all have, we know when that's creeping up, and you just know when to say when. put it
Yeah.
down. For me, it's chocolate. What is when you feel that nicotine buzz coming on? What are your go to help stave off that buzz?
You said chocolate for you?
Yeah, chocolate for me.
Salt. So anything salty. You probably got a sweet tooth. I don't have a sweet tooth, so I'm going with some chips or some nuts or something like that.
Yeah, some mixed nuts.
I have got. It's not just my tooth. I have a sweet. I crave sweets all the time. Yeah, it's so yeah. That's just an excuse. And then liquor, and then to cleanse my palate, licorice is what I use to cleanse my palate with.
Ooh, what kind of licorice?
Black like the blackest of black, the bitter, the anise.
Yeah. I just found those that you sent me, Kevin, the other day when I was digging because I realized I don't eat them all the time. But
Tanya, Robert Caldwell sent me some licorice, and Robert Caldwell is a licorice aficionado, collects licorice from all over the world. So that one of those tiny little things, and it's about the size of a tick. That's like an entire bag of licorice in a tiny. It's super concentrated.
Yeah.
And the first time he sent me a jar, I popped like 4 of them in my mouth. I thought I was gonna have a stroke. It was like, it destroyed everything inside me, and it was
makes your muscles contract.
So Kevin puts some in a Ziploc bag and sends it to Kerr with no context. Hey,
Robert didn't say anything to me about it.
Only eat one of these.
Yeah. So yeah. That's the way. That's what friends are for.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
I was greatly appreciative.
Let them learn on their own.
That's it. Let them learn on. That'll learn you.
I was very appreciative, and then I had a case of Bell's palsy where half my face went freaking paralyzed, and I was like, "Thanks, Kev. Appreciate that."
Oh, you're quite
yeah,
welcome.
I'm not a licorice person either. I can't do it.
So being a cop, investigator, 16 years, do you find that does that help you? In the cigar lounges, especially when the owners are lying to you.
Well, I'm 18 years law enforcement.
18.
So, yeah, but 16 on the street. But
yeah.
So,
you try and use that
doesn't
against
help
them?
me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the job itself helps you because you really have to convince people, that you know what you're talking about. So and there's a level of trust. You just sometimes some people get away with just being salespeople and they can sell you anything. It's just good, and they can be sell used cars, and that's nothing against them, but
scumbags.
I'm just more if I believe in it, I'm going for it. I'm unfortunately like us, we're gonna just thank you, Dustin, but they're going to, you're more likely going to sell or move what you believe in, so I like this cigar I'm smoking, the one she's smoking that she said she was smoking, that one I was a choice between those two, and those are the top 2 that we make that I love. So, and I tell people that all day long. So but
and also, like being a cop, being a salesman, I mean, you have to convince them that you're the good guy as well, because you're a rep. You're coming in, especially if it's a new lounge. It's like, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm just not a rep that comes in here, hawk my wares, and then move on. I'm never going to see you again. So that's being a cop, you got to convince them that you're the good guy.
Some people you can sit down in front of them and have the conversation, and they can read you. And some people you have to keep showing up until they see that. You know what I mean? I'm a person that's there. I show up. I'm there. When you have an issue, you email me at 1:30 in the morning. I'm responding at 1:30. If I'm up, I'm responding. And then people will say, "Oh, call me," and I'll call them. They go, "I thought you would call me tomorrow." No, I'm up. I'm gonna talk to you now. Want to talk? Let's talk. So I handle it, and people do appreciate that. They're like, "You respond. You're very good on your response. You take care of situations, so problem resolution. I'm on it," and so proving that in itself. But then you got to remind people as well, because then they'll take advantage to some degree. And you're like, I totally get it. I'm not leaving you to your own devices to sell these cigars. I said, I'm here. I'm helping you move them. I'm doing deals when I show up. When I show up, it's always a deal, first of all. And then it's not just an event that I have to do. But if I'm showing up, then I need you when my box is empty to reach out and not just expect me to have to. I have a lot of traveling to do that. Only when I show up, you order. That's not really fair either. So my product's moving, but it can't sell if you don't have it. So, that's kind of the relationship you trying to have with them. But it takes me to have to put my, not put my foot down, but really reiterate that. So I'm like, listen, I'm here. I'm showing up. I've been here. You see me more than you see any other rep. And so, and I move your cigars. And if I sell out everything while I'm there and you don't order, that's not really fair, because now they got the money. They're like, oh, now I want to buy this. So they're like, forget about you. Let's go on to the next brand. And, and leave your boxes empty. And I'm like, that's not really. So it's a relationship.
I've experienced that. Kerr's experienced that. Me, I used to have a beard accessory business making product. Put it in a barber shop. They'd sell out, and then I'd go back like a month later. Oh, we've been waiting for you to come in. We've been out for like 3 weeks. Call me. And Kerr, how many times have you been to a shop that empty boxes of your product sitting on the shelf?
It happens a lot, and it's you have to kind of navigate through, what you're hearing from the individual, if they want to reorder, if they can reorder. Sometimes, you'll learn the truth just by listening to the story, and it may not necessarily be, what the truth in the story, but you can tell what's going on.
Yeah, and you divide people up. You got to put everybody's got to go in a category. And, I was told there was, A, B, C, D accounts, and, your A accounts want to spend the most money, you focus on those. But sometimes they don't want you. They don't want to see you. They got it, So
yeah.
My A's are people who need that hands-on. They need you to be there, to take care of it. The people who are absentee owners and, those people who need you to be on top of their product. Those are A's for me because, they're just not going to do it themselves, Then B's is everyone who's buying on a regular basis and checking in with them every month to see. And C's and D's get a lot of attention from me as well. Everybody's equal in my book. I see everybody. So it doesn't matter how much you spend. You buy one box, you buy, it's hard for me to say, because you're not spending a lot of money, that I shouldn't see you. I just feel like, some shops didn't have any of my cigars, and I have cigars and in multiple locations. Some shops didn't have any cigars, have a whole wall of cigars. So it is good when you can see the area grow, and so you can't necessarily count out somebody who isn't spending money or spending little money. So
so with Chrissy chiming in, I'm assuming you handle her lounge as well, Chrissy Critchfield.
No, Chrissy doesn't have Gurkha, but I go there and visit and hang out in her lounge.
Chrissy, Chrissy, how are you going to be on the show saying hi and then not stock her cars or cigars? That's
She's good. She's good.
Yeah, it's all right.
She's supporting protocol. She's Espinosa Lounge, so she.
Yeah.
That's I stopped at their place when I was driving back from Chicago. That was one of my finds along the way in Simpsonville, Kentucky.
Now, do you tell the lounges if they're an A, B, C, or D to try and get them to promote up? Like, hey, you're still a D lounge. They're like, well, how do I get to be a C lounge? Like, I would use that against them, but that's me.
No, I don't. Of course not. I don't. But
You're gonna come on the chart, Kevin?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is where you are. Well, why my boss Ron wants me to say, this is where you are. But I haven't done that yet. But basically. When they ask for things at this juncture, I had to say, now 2 years in, I want to have an event. They want you to be an event. And they're like, are you going to do an order? No, I'm not going to do an order. I just want you to show up. And then I look at the account and they're like, I want you to show up on this Saturday. And I'm like, and so I look at their account and it's like, they spent $280 for the year. I'm like, wait a minute. You spent $280. You want an event? You want me to show up? Okay. I was like, listen, I'm not going to be able to do this event unless you put in an order. You plan on putting in an order? No. He calls me the other day. Are you I'm just checking to make sure. Well, I did do one for him before, but I was like, wait a minute. You ain't spending no money. I'm sorry it has to be this way, but I'm going to give up a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'll work 7 days a week. But now I have to put those people in their place and say, listen, you can build yourself up to that point, but you aren't there right now. So, but I have to do that. It's hard for me to say no. I'm just not that person. But I know I have to do it because they're going to take advantage,
Yeah.
Tanya, you realize by the time this interview is done, Kevin's gonna have an idea of creating report cards for everybody.
Yeah, for every so I have a new boss at work, our store manager. We have a new store manager. I'm a mechanic, and when customers come up and they ask for something and they go, "Oh, I am a really good customer," he'll pull up your name and flip the screen around and he goes, "Same thing. You've spent $280 here in a year." And then he'll pull up like one of our good customers who be like, "See, this is a good customer." Oh, he'll say that. It's like same thing. People that they want swag. They want this, they want that. Oh, I'm a good customer. Like, you spent $280. You want $800 worth of swag.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'll have that. I have customers that say, "Oh, I want to buy 7 boxes. I want 3 free." I'm like, what world is that happening in? Call your boss. I said, "You want me to get fired? You think I'm gonna call my boss and ask him to give you 3 free boxes or 7 boxes? Okay, sir. You are crazy. Why don't you call him? I'm not doing that."
Do you ever get the Ken used to?
Of course.
Yeah.
He gave them everything. All the customers like, "Oh, you got a backpack for me?" "No, I don't have a backpack for you." "Did you buy anything?" I'm at an event, having an event. They didn't buy anything. They're like, "Well, last time Ken did an event, he gave 15 backpacks away." I was like, "Okay, he did an event, but you probably bought something. You didn't buy nothing from me yet."
Yeah.
But we gotta look out for each other, is what he's saying. But you don't gotta buy one cigar.
Yeah.
Now I'm your sister because I'm a black girl. We black. I'm supposed to look out for what support. We support. It works both ways. You can support me.
Yeah.
You could, they want stuff. But some people are like, "Oh, I could take the cigar, but I can't post it because," or "You can't take my picture, you can't post it because I was part of the whole fight against Gurkha and this and that." It's just like,
That's insane.
"Well, I love this cigar, but you can't post my picture because I can't be caught dead, smoking the cigar." And it's just like,
No.
wow, okay. So there's no way for you to support me, but I have to support you. I get it.
All right. Speaking of support, here's a really good question.
Let's see what's good in the line to smoke. I'm open to try some out. Let's go around the room. Let's start off with what maybe before we get to Tanya, what some of our cigars are. Kerr, what on the Gurkha lineup? What are you smoking that you would recommend to someone?
I like the Cellar Reserves line. I mean, those are always classic and very good. I know, like I think I told you, my first box of cigars I ever bought was a Red Wedge. I know that's going back quite a ways. But I do like the Pure Evil, and I think the Ghost is a good cigar too. If you like something if you're into a heartier smoke.
Yeah, for me, it's all anything in a Cellar Reserve. Like I said, I can't remember if it's a 15 or 21 of the one that's my favorite, but it's the Ghost. You smoke the Ghost. Shut up and smoke the Ghost. It's a great cigar. And then Jessica,
I like the Ghost as well. I mean, that I was like, that's why when you grabbed it, I was like, "Excuse me, sir, what other Gurkhas do we have?" I really enjoy that one. But to be honest, I haven't really tried that many Gurkhas, so I don't know that much about what I dislike and I don't like. But I do like this Reserve that I'm smoking. It's actually freaking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So that does bring me to my next. Before we get to that, Tanya, you're going to answer that question here in a second. Sydney, that hasn't smoked the cigar. I always say, there are 3 kinds of Gurkha cigar smokers: those who've tried them and don't care for them. I respect that. You smoke them, you don't like them, you move on. That's fine. There's those that have tried them, like me, like Jessica, Kerr, and we like them. We like some, we don't like some. But the ones that really piss me off are the 3rd type of Gurkha cigar smoker. The ones that have never tried them and continuously bash them. Gurkha, the worst cigar out there. Have you seen their swag? And you always ask them, "Oh, which ones, what have you tried that you didn't like?" "I've never smoked them." Then shut the fuck up and stop bashing a company and stop bashing a cigar that you don't like, or that you've never had. So with that being said, Tanya, Sydney comes up to you in an event. "I've never smoked a Gurkha." How do you walk through what he likes, doesn't like, so you can pick him out the best Gurkha? What would you ask him?
Well, I ask them what do they normally smoke. So they smoke something light, or I'll pick something in my portfolio that matches that, like the Real or the Royal Challenge. If they want something medium, Cellar Reserve 15, which is our second best seller next to the Ghost. You have that one is really good, and the 18-year, the Red Corojo. it's really doing really well. So those are great for medium. Revenant is a sleeper. You know,
Oh, the Revenant. That was another.
That
Yes.
is a good cigar.
A low cost stick, and with the Cameroon binder on the Maduro and the Corojo, it gives it definitely a twist, no flavor. With the Mexican San Andreas on the wrapper, and then we're going towards the fuller end. If they like, well, we'll go to the Ghost, of course, on the top because it's a bestseller. This one has the same wrapper as the Ghost, the 15-year Limitada. And then, but it's Dominican, so it doesn't have the same bite, and it's not as smoky, I guess. And then you have my favorite that we make, which is the classic Havana blend, classic cigar. Mexican San Andreas on the wrapper, proprietary binder and filler, so you keep that hush hush, but it is a very flavorful stick. I love it. I don't get the same sweetness I get from the 15 Limitada, but I do love the flavor of the cigar. But I don't see it too many places, so I don't know why, but it's a really good cigar. So yeah, I just walk them through my portfolio, what we have, what we're selling. A lot of the shops tend to go with the fuller line. I don't see too much of our lighter body cigars out and about. But because you guess people have Romeo for that or Monte Cristo for that, so they don't really order from us on that. But yeah, and we have the Coalición, which is a limited release. 150 retailers have that, and that one is going to be much harder to find, I'm sure. But there's always a way to find out if you know your rep. We're all on social media. You can hit us up. People message me all the time. Where can I find the beauty? Where can I find the beast? I know retailers who still have Red Witch. I know retailers who have. If I'm there, I can tell you who has what. If you're looking for a cigar that we made, I have shops that have everything we ever made and still have some. If you're looking for,
oh really? Because people are always saying, where can I get I've never had a Red Witch. You know, people I hear that on where anybody know where I can get a Red Witch, and everybody's like, yeah, nowhere. So
well, I can send you a Red Witch. We'll work on that.
Yeah,
send you some Red Witches. But yeah, it's like, so anything people ask me all the time, well, where can I get a Ninja? I'll tell them where to go, because I do know which retailers still have those cigars. And sometimes I take pictures of them. A Wicked Indie, I saw in the store the other day. I was like, oh, where'd you find this box? Like, oh, I was cleaning out some stuff. I found it. I took a picture, posted on social media. People hit you up like, where's that at? So if I find some treasures or old cigars, I snap photos and at first Juan Lopez was like, those are not our cigars anymore, but these were the ones we made for brick and mortar. So it's not the online cigars that they are now.
Yeah,
they were the brick and mortar cigars. So these was still good cigars. And even people who have smoked some of our old stuff or smoked them from online, I get a lot of complaints from people who buy our cigars online. I would guarantee that they should revisit our cigars by going to brick and mortar and buying them. So because it is what it is there. But
that's it. And shut up, Juan. Like I said, they're still your cigars. If people like them, they're going to explore the rest of your lineup. Hey, I love these. Going to go back to that brick and mortar and buy, the Ghost. Going to buy, the Cellar Reserve line. So,
but I guess they don't want you to fall in love with something old that's we're no longer making.
Right.
Yeah, as long as
that makes sense.
But people understand that. Yeah,
Yeah, they do. But like he said, he likes the Red Witch. I had when I first started, everybody wanted to order Red Witch, and I was like, well, we discontinued it. But then they said, well, we'll sell them the Castle Hall. Not the same. You just can't switch people off and say, oh, well, because you like $6, I'm going to give you $6. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times that does not work. And so at first I didn't know any better, and I smoked them like, no, not the same. So, if you want to spend a little bit more money, here you can go with this. But if I had to learn the cigars and know what the blends were, so I could tell you what in our portfolio is going to match what you had. Because nobody's reinventing the wheel. So if somebody wants to say all Gurkhas are bad, then you don't like half of the cigars in the industry, because we're all using the same tobacco. We're the same blends pretty much. It's just a different blender.
Yeah.
There's no way you strike out 120 times with how much, our SKUs we have. You know what I mean? There's no way. So, but people, that's what they want to. People, that's just what they do. But
and people don't realize Aganorsa makes some of your cigars. Aganorsa. Yeah. So people don't realize that, and they're like, oh wait, what? Aganorsa?
Yeah.
Now, you go online and bash one of our Aganorsa cigars, you're pretty much just bashing them because they're making them. So
yeah, you take the band off.
Cigars, you hate them, then you hate Aganorsa, because they're not. I think they're doing totally different things for us. I mean, everybody's using the same stuff. We're all, so it's all the inside and behind the scenes stuff. So, it's just people have to educate themselves and not, it's like people are sympathetic without having the experience, it's like somebody saying, well, I hate the police. Well, what problems do you have with the police? No, I didn't have any problems, but I heard about it.
I heard, yeah.
Or I heard Stinky or JoJo had a problem, so I hate all of them. Like, but you have no practical application of this. Same thing with cigars. Smoke the cigar, tell me it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have more credibility. But don't tell. But it also, even if we didn't have crap with our cigars, we would still. It's a crop. Things change. Things are going to happen. And there's ways to rectify that with your brick and mortar, for you to come directly to me, if something went wrong, you know what I mean? Like you give the store the opportunity to correct it. I had a problem with Ghost in the store and he called me about it. But if you're a customer, you should be going to that store owner, because there's issues there sometimes, and they could fix it for you or try to fix it. But you don't go directly to me on my page and bash me publicly. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird.
Well, it's lack of knowledge. I mean, Kevin, you hit the nail on the head, right? There's those people that never smoked it, but they want to bash it, right?
Yeah.
And that's just ridiculous. That's just no different than someone spreading hearsay and believing lies. But, like you said, when there is an issue, you take it back to the shop owner, because I've walked into enough shops and I've had a cigar where I could tell that just walking into the humidor, it's too much humidity. So I'm going to smoke a cigar. It's always going out. It's really soggy. It's not cigar. It's the way they're keeping their humidor. I walked in that are too dry. It's flaky. So there's a lot that is done at that humidor level and at the shop owner's level that you can address it from there. The other thing is it's a handmade product. So the odds of something, not going right, we try and minimize it, but it can happen. And the other thing is, with all of the SKUs that Gurkha has, if you tell me you can't find one that you like, you're lying. And I'll tell you, there's been a couple I smoked that I'm not a fan of, but I do like, a lot of the Gurkha line that I've smoked. I think it was the Marquesa.
That was Juan sent me one of those not too. That was a great cigar.
See, and that's the thing is, I didn't like it, but that's my palate, right?
Yeah,
that's different for you. So that's the other thing folks got to realize too. What is not good for me may be great for Kevin, may be good for Jessica, and you got to understand that different palates, different tastes. So I think when you said that, Kevin, has been sticking in my craw a little bit of, the folks who just want to write off a company just because of the name and say that they suck, but you never smoked a cigar. You're really not basing that off of any type of, objective observations and or trying cigars.
Yeah. And one of the reasons they're coming after you, Tanya, and then they're posting it on social media and not going back to the brick and mortar is because if I have a problem with this Ghost and I go back to the brick and mortar, the most likely they're going to give me another one. They're going to give me a single cigar. But if I post it online and then, we see it, we see the aftermath. Oh, hey, I had a problem with the cigar and Juan Lopez, he sent me a 5-pack and a hat or a backpack to make up for it. Now, everybody online, they see that, it's like, oh, hey, if I complain about a cigar and I go right to the top, instead of going back to my brick and mortar, I'll get swag or I'll get a couple cigars. So then people will bitch, and then they get free stuff. And that's irritating as well.
Kevin, I had a problem with this cigar, Kevin. I have a major problem with this cigar.
Yes.
It started off way bigger than this.
Yes. So, but yes. So Tanya, how often do you hear I'm sorry? So you get someone that maybe you hear, oh, I don't like Gurkha. I don't like Gurkha. And they make bad cigars. And then they smoke one. You give them like, hey, try one. How often do you hear them come back and go, hey, I'm sorry. This is actually a really good cigar. I liked it. Do they ever?
Definitely the majority of the time that's the case. Or they'll say something, like, well, this one, I do remember this one wasn't bad or whatever the case would be. But yeah, I'll get that, majority of the time, actually. The times where anyone has actually smoked a cigar who had bad to say about it and smoked it, I've actually had no one say, well, I don't like it. But I have had people say they wouldn't smoke it at all. So I've had shops I go into, I'm like, well, now I will not smoke a Gurkha. So it's like that I've had. But as far as people actually smoking it after saying that they've had bad experience, I've never had a person say that they hated it at that point. So, not I'm sorry. It ain't gonna be I'm sorry, but no, this isn't bad. And you know, they've turned some things around as well. So that did help. So it probably it isn't true that they had a bad one, but we're not discrediting them there. But we to say to revisit and try different ones is definitely. But it's hard for people to say that, especially the ones who genuinely had an issue. To spend your money again on a product that you don't believe in. So that's hard because they're not cheap. But
they're definitely not cheap. When you're at an event, and you get people that come up and they don't know Gurkha, is it easier to get a male or female to smoke Gurkha? I would assume men maybe a little bit more hesitant. I think females are, that's my opinion, more open because we're guys, we're closed-minded.
Like I said, you would be surprised how many people buy Gurkhas
the women are like super fans. Like I give them a cigar and then they're like, that's all I smoke. Some of them, they they're all in and they're like fans, they tell me online, I say I'm having an event, I can't make it. I was like, I wasn't looking for anyone in particular, but I appreciate it. Women are great, like I'm gonna come. I'm coming to your event. I'm like, women are definitely that for sure supportive. The guys are probably a little more hesitant because it's also an audience. In this area, it was a big thing. So who's gonna be the first? And then when I go to other shops and they're like, well, nobody's smoking Gurkha. I'm like, that's not quite true. I'm a salesperson of the year. Obviously, someone's buying it, right? So, but yeah, but there's still the air of it's still bad. Everybody thinks it's bad. I'm like, no. I got a lot of support, and I post that on social media. So for the people who say no, you can't post my picture, but they're smoking one. They just don't want the boys to know, but they're smoking them. So, and so that's a situation that I get it. There are people who just live their lives worrying about what other people think of them. I've not been that person. So, there's surprisingly you can get those stories. There's plenty. But
I'm the guy that was at a Dunbarton event, a private event, and I'm smoking a Durastate acid in front of Steve Socket and everybody's like, as soon as I lit it up, people are like sniffing, and then they all look at me. I'm like, what the problem is? Like he only gave us one free one. I smoked it. Now I'm gonna smoke the one I brought. So yeah, I don't care. I don't care what people think. But there are people like the image is that I'm gonna support you. Well, I like you. I'm gonna support you, but I'm not gonna do it publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's fine too. I get it. Everything you do to help support other people doesn't have to do. Some people say, "Well, I don't believe in Gurkha, but I support you," and I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I think that's great because it says that there's a relationship that we built, and they know that if they don't, nobody does anything to buy Gurkha in my territory, then there's no me here. So some people say, they love me there and they like me and they want to support me. And it's not that the cigars are bad. They just can't, let other people know that they're supporting me, which is fine.
It is, it's, it is what it is, how often, are you guys getting guys hitting up on you, like giving you the digits? What?
I had an event and I sold like 9 cigars. I was there for 5 hours. And I probably had about 20 people ask me for my phone number. So.
You should be like, you buy a cigar, you get a
phone
number.
Yeah. That's it.
Totally like the main number to Gurkha.
Yeah, you give them Juan Lopez, give them protocol Juan Cancel's number instead.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, it's funny.
So you're talking about you get these fangirls that come and see you. Have you what's your fangirl moments? Have you been you met someone like, oh my God? As for me, the first time I met Pete Johnson, I freaked out. So have you had those moments?
I am a fan. I am a cigar fan. I'm a cigar nerd. I definitely am. And being at the trade show and running around and snapping photos with everybody, Rocky Patel and Matt Booth and Fuente or whole Fuente family. I saw one of them. I was taking pictures. I love Fuente, but yeah. So, I went to Cigar Safari with Willie Herrera and Robert Caldwell. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So I was on that for Safari for 4 days. Crazy, but they were.
That was a long time ago. Then, if Caldwell was there.
Yeah, Caldwell was there. So, so that was really cool. Yeah, I'm just a super fan. The first time I saw somebody was I worked at Cross Street Tobacco in Baltimore, and was it Chris Stone?
Chris Stone.
He was with Drew Estate, but he's moved up.
Yeah.
So he was the rap, and he was like rock star rings, and
Yeah.
he was like, and they had pulled a motorcycle into the shop. I was like, what is going on? I was like, this is what we could be. So it's pretty cool to see. And I got to interact with a lot of different reps, from Dan from Fuente, who's in his shirt and tie and slacks, and then the rock star, the long hair, and it's nice that you can be whatever character, because I'm a character my own self. I like to dress up. I'm like very theatrical sometimes, that's always been weird everywhere I've been, but this is a place where it's okay, so it's pretty cool.
So what is Ronnie said? Ronnie wants us to play a video, and let me see if I can share. Let me see if I'm gonna put myself on mute.
Is he smoking? Second. What is he doing? A video of what?
Unless I think
I'm all right. So I'm downloading the video here, and then let me upload it here.
Are you
and
gonna
then
watch it first?
See.
It's not you, Tanya.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not gonna watch it first here. So let me.
I didn't open it, but I could tell it's a man, so it's like.
All right.
I wonder where he's going with this one.
That's it. It was really dark. I couldn't see what the. I know who it is. All right. Okay, we got to upload. So let's play this video that Ronnie sent us.
Do you say stop? Let me play with your body, baby. Make it real hot. Let me do all the things you want me to do. Cause tonight, baby, I wanna get freaky with you.
Oh wow!
Oh my God!
That was karaoke.
That is a Juan Lopez a karaoke here. Oh my God!
See it. It was so dark.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's always singing. Anybody who knows him knows.
Is he?
He's always singing, and it's usually R&B, and the women in Atlanta and the women in Atlanta love him. Okay.
Oh my God!
That's awesome. I loved it.
So who haven't you met yet that you've been waiting? Like, who's like your white whale, that you haven't met that you gotta one day meet and sit down with?
Oh, I don't know. I got to meet so many people that it's not this year, last year. So let me see. I don't know. I can't think right now.
No, I was hoping you say like Steve Saka.
Kevin Shahan's off the bucket.
Yeah, that's it.
I've actually met him before when I was ordering for a shop at the trade show. So I did meet him. Yeah, I met a lot of people. So it's
okay.
I was going to this trade show for 4 years as a retailer, and now I've been 2 years on the manufacturing side. So I've got to meet a lot of people that I wanted to meet. So it's really I can't think of anybody right now.
One said Jorge Padron would be the only one she never met.
Yeah.
So same here. So we've talked about, like just delving into a few cigars in this the Gurkha cigar lineup. How hard is it, when you go into a lounge to open up a new account? You guys have a massive, portfolio. Like how hard is that to whittle that down? When a customer, a new customer, I want to stock like maybe 2 or 3 facings. Do you always start them off with the fastest movers, or?
Yeah, of course you want them to get something that's going to move, and so it's not hard because we were, they're beating us down with the top selling SKUs, stuff we need to move, stuff that is slow moving, stuff that might get discontinued. So we're always kept in up to date on what's going on. So we know what's our top 10 sellers. We can, you're putting those in certain things that should be in every store because it just should be, So they break it down per numbers. If you have this many accounts, this is how many of your accounts have it. And so there's always room to grow those. And, so it's like, okay, you need to get it in 5 more shops, and you'll be fine kind of thing. So, so that's relatively easy. We throw those in the store, they move, there's no problem. When they want to grow a little bit more, it gets a little more difficult once you get to past the 10 to figure out what else am I putting in there. So you start doubling up 2 cellar reserves, 2 of the 15, 2 of the 12, 2 of the 18, that kind of thing. So 2 different sizes once they start moving up but we have so many cigars that it isn't a problem. And you're not doing the brand any justice when you just put 1 box, 2 boxes. Yeah. You got to have a good showing of it. Perdomo does well because you have a whole wall. It's not that it's not going to sell. If I have 16 boxes or 24 boxes, it's going to move because you take over a whole wall. So it's Nike can sell Nike in a Nike store. It's not a problem, but it could also sell in the small store. That's kind of like how Padron does. Once certain cigars are if you have 1 box, it's still going to move relatively well. Those brands don't have to put up a big showing because people want to buy those cigars more often than they do, our cigars. So we have to put in a good showing so that people can say, okay, this is the Gurkha section where we could try out different type of cigars. So.
Yeah, and obviously try out different cigars. If you get a brick and mortar, that are complaining, hey, these cigars aren't selling. Are you going in there and swapping them out? Okay, let's maybe these cigars don't work here. Let's try and
that's true. There are some stores in Atlanta. It looks like a whole cluster of cigars on top of each other, and so cigar shops on top of each other. So yes, they would duplicate what someone else does, but then this person's selling 2 cigars out the box. This person's selling 2 cigars out the box. So I have a cigar shop. It was 2 in the same shopping center, and then across the street is 2 more. So it's kind of like they're on top of each other.
Wow.
You can't carry the same top 2, 3, 4, 5. You gotta switch it up. But of course they're like, well, what's gonna move? So yeah, you have to spread it out a little bit differently. So, but they say, well, they moved over there. Well, a lot of times somebody will have a falling out with the shop owner here, open up their own shop, so they know what was there. So they try to duplicate that there, but it could be right up the street and it still won't move the same. So, you definitely have to try different things, but no one's ever stuck with cigars when it comes to me. I'm taking the cigars, even if I gotta load my truck up and take it myself. We're swapping this out because if you're stuck with it, if you're not selling it, then I'm not. Well, I made money, but I won't make any more money from you if you're not selling a cigar. So it's better to just swap it out. I'll work with them, bag it up, throw in some new stuff that we have in our line into a bag with those cigars so that we can move them out. I have a shop doing that now with the Red Witch. So you can bag them up and, put them out and they'll move. And they tend to move better, of course, when you discount it. For some reason, cigars are the only thing, if you discount it, sometimes it's worse for the line because people think, oh, the whole line is bad if you discount it. But unfortunately, that thing might not have moved there because your clients are different than, your customers are different than other shops. So I do anything I can to help them move the product. And sometimes the cigar is not good enough to sell for $13, but if it's $9 in a bag, people all of a sudden they can't get enough of them. They fly off the shelves.
That they do. And then Juan had mentioned, and it's not the first time I've never visited the Atlanta cigar shop scene, but he's not the first one to say that. Like it's a crowded market, the Atlanta. Like it's like per capita, like more cigar shops than I think anywhere, but I hear that, someone, gets pissed off at a shop and they like open one up across the street. It's like just out of spite. Just out of
Yeah.
spite, you're going to do that?
Yeah, some shops they start
Yeah.
they start the rebuilding, and then they tell they have a fight, the landlord, and one of them doesn't get to open, but you did all this work, got these licenses, but it's just a whole bunch of situation there. But I don't know. So you figured you'd want to go somewhere where there's no, where you're kind of doing it and starting it yourself, as opposed to doing it where someone else is. But that's not what people think. You can get away with that with chicken, apparently, in Atlanta. You can just open up spots everywhere, but cigars, not so much. And nobody's getting rich off cigars. Okay, not everybody. Hardly anybody's getting rich off of cigars. If you're selling cigars, if you're just selling cigars, then, but if you have liquor, then all of a sudden, you're a millionaire. So the thing is that, everybody's not getting rich, so it should be spread out. But they're doing what they do, and I guess it works for Atlanta. It's a flavor for everybody, Yeah. But it's very different. You got the club scene.
Yeah.
You have the drink and smoke. You have the, if you go in there, you better not speak loud. This is a library. You better be quiet. I walk in and I'm like, hey, I'm here, and everybody's like, bitch, if you don't lower your tone, So everybody gets quiet, and I'm like, oh, I guess I spoke too loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so many different types here that it's something for everybody.
So how big is your area? What area do you cover?
So I cover all of Alabama, all of Tennessee, all of Kentucky, all of Georgia. I do some shops in South Carolina because they requested me, and I've shopped in Virginia.
All the way up to Virginia? That's kind of a weird hop there.
Well, it's on the border, Bristol, so it's right on there's a Bristol, Tennessee, and a Bristol, Virginia.
Oh, that's right. I'm not good with maps. Everybody,
we were there.
We stood on the street. Yeah.
And then we went to Chrissy's shop.
Yeah.
So how do you not know?
Yeah,
that?
I forgot. My buddy owns a tattoo shop in Bristol, Tennessee, and then across the street is a cigar shop in Bristol, Virginia.
Right, sidetrack. So yeah. And if it's close enough to my area and they request me, then they let us bleed over a little bit. So that's how I ended up in South Carolina. They requested me, and it's not far from Augusta or whatever. So I'm in South Carolina as well.
So how often are you on the road then? Out of a do you have like a 5 day? Or do you have your own schedule? I mean, is it a 5 day week? I mean, I don't know how you're like you don't clock in and out, but
they don't tell you anything. You don't work Monday through Friday, whatever you work. They think you're gonna probably work Monday through Friday and take your weekends off. But I pretty much work every day, pretty much. I don't know else to do, so I'm just everywhere all the time. He's like, you're gonna be off and hang in a cigar shop? I'm like, yes, it's not working. I go to I drive to go to a cigar shop to smoke cigars, to go to another cigar shop to smoke cigars. Like, I don't feel like I'm working. So this is kind of the first time in my life that I just worked one job. I've always worked in multiple hustles and doing multiple things, and now I just have one thing to do, and that is smoke cigars. And so I'm like, this doesn't really feel like work. So I'm always working. I'm out usually from Monday through Friday. I try to get home on the weekends. So even if I'm at a shop, I'm usually in Georgia, hopefully, unless I have an event, and then I'm there. But so I don't have they don't tell me where to go, what to do. The average is you visit about 5 shops a day. Most times I do more. And then and that's it. So I'm generally out for 12 hours, unless I'm on the road, because when you go to other states, it's a lot slower. So they know how to shut down at 7. But when you're in Atlanta, I can get up at 6 p.m. and start working if I wanted to, because I could be out to 2 a.m. It's not a problem. But if you go to other places at 7, you're twiddling your thumbs trying to figure out what to do. You're at the hotel like, I'm bored. So you commandeer the cigarette smokers out front. You're like, do you smoke cigars? Like, no. Well, you will today. I can always get like an 80-year-old woman to smoke a cigar. She's like, I used to smoke back in my day.
It was same thing the last time we were in Atlanta, and it was like we're at the hotel. It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night or something, and I'm beat. And then like I had posted from the hotel, who like, come on out, just like getting like, no, I'm old, time for bed. But yeah, I see what you mean. So how often are you sleeping in your own bed every night, or like how often are you overnight in these different states?
So when there's nothing going on in Atlanta, which is always something going on in Atlanta, I travel. I probably would do the month where I would do 1 week in Georgia and then 3 weeks away. So, but I try to be home on the weekends.
Okay.
But most times I'm home. Most times I'm home on Sundays. So sometimes I'm traveling on Saturdays home, or I might have an event on Saturday, but I want to go home on Sunday. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I take it no pets, no nothing at home that they got to take care of then?
Oh, my son lives with me. He's 24. So.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, basically I live by myself. But.
Okay. So what's he do? Any interest in getting into the cigar world like his mom or the police department?
Absolutely not. No. But he is an IT. He's a gamer. He's an IT. He's doing that IT support.
That's my son. You know, saying
and that's grand.
Yeah, and that's
military, and then
yeah.
he'll do that after he gets out.
That's it. So what is your go-to like? So when you wake up in the morning, you have a cup of coffee or whatever. What's your go-to morning Gurkha cigar?
Ooh, if I have a coalition, I'll go with that. I'll do actually the Particulares, which is our predicate, the other line, Sindicato. I do like that in the morning. But I tend to go with something lighter, maybe a 21 year. I'll do like a little mini of a coffee, vanilla, or no cherry though. I don't for cherry, but yeah, coffee or vanilla. And then I'll smoke cherry for the gram, but I'm not smoking.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I switch it up. It's usually something light in the morning.
Now what about like in the evening? You just you had a big heavy meal. You want to wind down with a cocktail. What's your cigar and what's your beverage of choice?
Usually gonna do some type of scotch, and I'm gonna do something. Like I said, I try to keep these. If I get any of these, then they don't go to the people in the store. That's my personal stash, as well as the limitada. I get a car stock every month, and smoke some, give some away. But of course you're gonna pick what you like. That's my stuff. You don't need it. That's probably why the stores don't have it, because I'm smoking them all. I guess they need samples of it to smoke it. So he was like, I was at a store, said that recently with Juan Lopez, and he was like, "You got some of those? You bring some in and give them to them." I was kind of like, really? You want me to give up my personal stash?
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you bring someone?
Girls.
Yeah, dick. Yeah.
From the factory where they live. I don't need to give them my cigars.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'll bring some to them. And then we sent them some free boxes. I was like, they can smoke out of those. They don't need it from me. So I was like, they don't need my personal stash. But.
Yeah. So out of these 5 Gurkha cigars, I want you to tell me which one was your favorite. Mm-hmm. The Gurkha HRH, the Maharaja, His Majesty's Reserve, the Triad, or the Sultan. Which one of those was your favorite?
I have not had only one. I actually got an HMR because I made sales of the year and I complained so much. And I was like, I want a cigar. I was told I was going to get one. They gave me one. Now I only have one, so I can't smoke it until I get another one. Oh, so I've never had it.
So they gave you the HMR. They gave you a $75,000 cigar.
It's not $75,000.
I thought the His Majesty's
Maharaja
Reserve
is His Majesty's Reserve. Yeah.
Oh, the Maharaja Reserve was $75K.
Yeah, no. I don't think they're giving me one of those, but maybe if I do the sales another year again, I'll ask for that. But yeah, I got that. I got the HMR. I've only had the Triad.
Okay, that's not too bad. $4,300. I think is what the MSRP anyways on it is.
Right.
Now, do you have obviously the $350,000 HRH? Nobody's stocking those. Is anybody stocking, or any lounges having these expensive cigars? Are you seeing these behind glass or something?
Yeah, I have a couple of stores that have them. I have some of them. Not of course. Usually Maharaja and HMR. A Triad as well. And I go into the store and they move some, and it moves every once in a while. I'm like, oh, you down one. 1 month I'm like, oh, you're down 2 at Cigar Depot. He's like, yes, this guy came in and he wanted them. He said, what's the most expensive cigar you got? And he bought 2. I was like, what? Okay.
He bought 2.
Yeah. I was like, he got money to burn.
Yeah.
Oh, he's about to kill his whole family. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Yeah. But that's got to be a shocker to somebody, you know, that doesn't know. Like, what's your most expensive cigar? They might be thinking you got $100 cigar, $150, and they bust out a $4,000 cigar, and you're like, whoo.
Two of them.
I was.
I'm not going into any store asking what's the most expensive cigar you got. How about that? Those people, I don't know, they're special. I'm going in there like, all right, no prices on these cigars. Some stores you go into, there's no prices on them, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. The only cigar that I'm going to spend good money on is that Padron and Fuente collab cigar if it ever makes it to the market.
If it ever, it's supposed to be this year. So
it makes it. I'm a burn it because I have a soft spot for them. But yeah, other than that, nah, you ain't getting me.
Oh yeah, I don't know what they're going to go for. I don't know if they've released any pricing or anything yet, but it'll be it'll be a minimum $100 cigar.
Yeah, minimum. I'm thinking about 100 to 300. I'm getting it. I'm gonna get 2.
Yeah. I'm gonna get one. Me and Jessica gonna share it. We'll send Kerr a little piece of it, you know. So
I'll give the band.
You know, he can have some.
Give him the bottom half. Give him the bottom.
Give him the bottom half. Oh my God. So you said you and I saw that online. You've been riding around with Juan. Does he come up? Is that something he does regularly with all the sales reps? You know, just takes time here or there and just rides along with you guys and gals for like a week or so.
Yeah, he does it all year long, and sometimes I requested. I was like, he hasn't been to Atlanta since 21, so I was like, you need to come to Atlanta. He was like, all right, well, I'm coming. And he said it right away, like I'm coming in May. I'm like, okay. He just left me in April in Alabama, so usually I see him 3 times a year on the road somewhere, at the trade show. Oh, now at the sales meeting. So
everybody has a funny Juan Lopez story. Most of them, when we have people on the show, they say, I can't tell you. I have a list of people that are say, hey, when I see you in person, I'm going to tell you my Juan Lopez story. I just can't tell you on the show. What is it? Okay, Jess. What you got a fun, what's a funny Juan Lopez story that you could possibly tell us?
Yeah, I don't have anything crazy. He's somebody who you can't leave. If you leave your glass for too long, he's feeling it. I'm like, we went to a spot in, where were we? I guess we're in Alabama, and the place is closed, and he goes to the door. He pulls the door aside. He puts his hands up like, "Let me in." Of course, they let him in. As soon as he gets in, he sits down. They put the whole bottle on the counter, like boom. I'm like, okay, this is what's happening. So I get up, I finish my drink, get up, go pee. It's full again. So he does it a couple times. I'm like, I'm driving you. He was like, why? Because we can. No, we cannot. You can, but I'm driving you. I was like, you want me drunk driving you? He's like, because we can. I'm like, okay, listen, I'm taking this glass. I'm walking away from you, and I'm going to keep this one drink for the rest of the day. That, so it's I had to set some ground rules. I'm good, because he would just keep going. I don't need any more.
Oh, he's like Juan Cancel and his Tito's, So
yeah, because I was asleep at the bar that day. I was like, he was hanging out. I was like, I'm ready to go. He's like, I'm not ready. He said, no, we gotta finish this bottle. I'm like, no, there's no one says you have to go to a bar and finish the bottle. So
I remember reading that.
So I'm sitting at the bar as I'm like sleep, and he's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm like ready to go home. We're ready to go to the hotel. So yeah, he came here to Atlanta. He was hanging out, and I was like, I'm out. I'm leaving you. And then I left him. I was like, what time did you get in the room? He said 3:00. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take an Uber because I'm not hanging with you. You're just too long-winded out in these streets. So
my God, Ben Irwin wants to know what kind of scotch are you drinking?
Oh, I'm not having scotch today.
But when you are, what's your favorite? Or what is that?
Let me put the head on.
Oh my God. Wow.
Hey.
What a cool bottle. What's the name of that?
Yamato.
Oh my God. I'm about to look for that just because I want the bottle.
That's
that is definitely fancy. Is it expensive? Is it expensive or is it just like look expensive?
Well, they had it at Costco, so I've seen it range. It was like $140.
Okay, still, I'm not a Scotch guy, but that's it seems like a little up there.
Yeah, but this is whiskey. This is Japanese whiskey. So
okay. Now, Ben also wants to know, which I don't know even, how many different blends does Gurkha have? I know it's a lot. What's your how many SKUs do you have?
I think it's like 120 SKUs.
Wow.
That might rival Rocky there on the amount of SKUs.
Yeah, I think we pretty much got everybody beat, really.
Yeah, in case the whole FDA thing come down, you're predicated for the next couple hundred years for.
They lock it down, copyright and everything. They're not playing around. They're just like, we're gonna register everything, every word that could relate to anything spooky, I guess.
Yeah. I've heard those stories about someone coming out with a cigar and then getting a cease and desist from Gurkha. You know, it's like, hey, you know, we've had that name for like 20 years. You know, it's just
it gets out of control. You know, like, don't use blue, don't use black, don't use.
I know. You know, now I mean you've alluded to it a couple of times. I know before you came on with the whole thing, people not supporting it with Kaizad, that whole thing. Did you get a chance? I know when Juan was on the show, he had said that Kaizad wasn't day-to-day operations anymore. Did you ever get a chance to meet him, or have you run into him, or?
No, I haven't. So it's just a story.
No. Just a story. What about the new big boss, Jim Colucci? How we had him on the show once.
I see him at the trade show and I see him at the sales meeting. So I seen him when I went to the thing. So yeah, he's pretty chill. This is stories that he's a tough guy. He probably is behind the scenes, but he's very chill when I've seen him.
Yeah, he's definitely a super cool guy when we had him on the show. And I know he does the whole thing with Sindicato. I know you guys distribute Sindicato. Do you distribute Sindicato as what, do all the sales reps, or do you get your, is there a decision you can either rep Sindicato or not, or is that just something that?
No, you were on with Berger, you're on with Sindicato. So it's also something you sell. I have shops that are already buying it.
Is that a hard sell for a new retailer? Because Sindicato is kind of like, a lot of people don't understand the concept behind Sindicato and how they started and what they are. Is that a little bit tougher to sell than Gurkha?
Yeah, I guess it's tougher to sell because it's all about recognition. People don't recognize the name. That's more of the issue than anything else. They don't recognize the brand. But a lot of times, if I give them a Particulares or I explain the Casabellas and the bundle sticks, they usually go for it. So yeah, the Particulares is more Cuban-esque, and people like it. People like the box, and so it does. People do like it when I do give them those. So
yeah, that's probably the one I've smoked the most of, the Particulares. Other than that, I couldn't tell you really what anything the cigars in their portfolio, except for it seems like
the Artista is a Cubico, an affinity line.
I mean the Cubico is that's a Sindicato.
Yes.
Okay, I have a couple of Cubicos, which I didn't know. That's what they were. So I'm gonna have to write that down and dig those out of my humidor and smoke those. Definitely. So I didn't see you at the PCA last year. I was only there for the one day. I interviewed Juan for about 30 seconds. But are you going to be at the PCA this year?
Yeah, I was there last year and the year before with Gurkha, and I'll be there this year.
So what's your role at PCA? Like what is it signing up new accounts, just talking with people?
Well, it's 10 of us in the U.S. We're all regional sales, and we have a territory. So I cover my territory. Any shops that come in from my territory come down and sit with me. They don't sit with someone else unless I'm busy and they have permission, because I can't take anybody's customers. They have a fit. You go sit with their customers. So I'm just walking them around and showing them the new stuff. But yeah. So you sit with your shop owners. They know you have the relationships, and then they put their order, tell them the deals, what they got going on, and they buy. And special deals for people who show up to the show. So we did special invitations for the Coalition. So we had so you deal with all your shops from your territory, and then there are also people that come in there saying, I'm opening up a shop and I want to set up an account with you, or want to hear more, or they have questions, and you're there to answer the questions. But mostly you're taking orders. You're taking sales orders for the show.
Okay.
So
So,
in
and
between,
then,
I'm running around taking pictures with Matt Booth and Carlito Fuente and everybody. So
oh, Matt's always, that is Matt's my boy. I said, I love getting a chance to hang out with Matt and just shooting the shit with that crazy guy.
I'm running around like a chicken, like, let me get a picture with you. Let me get a picture with you. They're like, this crazy girl. Don't you work for Gurkha? What are you doing?
Yeah. But I'm sure Gurkha doesn't care. I mean,
No.
we're everybody's friends in the industry. They don't say anything if you smoke another cigar on social media. Gurkha's not one of those companies that like, oh, hey, I saw you smoking a Padron. You can't post on social media that.
No, they're very good. If there's a majority of what you're posting is about Gurkha, then you're fine. But they do expect that you smoke other cigars just to know what's out there. When I go to a shop and I see that there's a cigar, I've worked in cigar retail for 7 years, so I was always up on the latest, and I've smoked everything in the humidor. So it is strange now to go now to different cigar shops and seeing a lot of stuff that I have not had, and a lot of new cigars, a lot of new brands. And so I'll go in a shop and I'll see something I haven't smoked, like West Tampa or something like that, and buy it just to say the new Nica Rustica, I want to try that. So if I see something that I have not had, I usually end up going to buy some sticks. And so just to try them out. So when somebody comes up to me, someone said that. I was in a shop and they were like, oh, what do you smoke? And they're like, I like smoke the Nica Rustica. And then showed me this blue band. And I was like, I never saw that.
Yeah.
I can't even refer you to anything in my portfolio because I don't even know what the hell that tastes like. So I was like, let me buy it just to try so I could know what. I could also Google it and research it and say, oh, this is what it is. But I think it's better to get a practical application of smoking it to know what people are into. So that's what I do that as a lot. So I would come home with a bunch of sticks and I sit down and I smoke them on weekends just to see what's out there. And I do post it on social media as I'm smoking. So people ask questions. My name is Tanya Graham Gurkha. I try not to just post Gurkha. So that way, people, I think it's respectable to try different things and give homage to other people in the industry. Of course, if it's shitty, I don't say nothing.
Yeah, but people, but you make a good point. People, you have to know that, because if someone says, "Hey, I've never tried a cigar before," and you say, "What do you smoke?" Well, I smoke Padron 64. If you've never smoked one, or if you've never smoked a Nica Rustica, the Adobe blue band, I mean, you don't know, But like I said, you could Google it and like, oh, it's got this, and this in it. You might like our, which
if you like
not...
earthy and citrus, then you will like.
yeah.
But it's better to try, and I want to try them. I like to switch it up too, because I'm smoking Gurkha all day, every day. So it's nice to take off from the cigars for the weekend and smoke something else. So that way I'm like, oh, okay. We get a heavy Nicaraguan shipment when we get our car stock. So it's nice sometimes to switch off to a Dominican or Honduran or something like that. So yeah.
Especially being in Atlanta, that's like the home of the boutique cigar scene right now. Like, seems like every boutique maker that I talk to,
everybody I talk to comes to me like, I got a stick. I'm like, oh, do you?
Yeah.
You got a cigar? I sold 200 of them. Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
You need to try it. You need to talk to Gurkha. Maybe. I'm like, okay, thank you. Every shop, somebody's in there making a cigar. So it's like
that's it. So my final question for you, man, I can't believe it's been almost an hour and 40 minutes already. You've said it, 2022 Gurkha Salesperson of the Year. What do you owe your success to? You've only been doing this 2 years. You're just getting ready to celebrate your two-year anniversary. So that means a year in, you were Salesperson of the Year. Was it Ken? Did he get you going? And then you just kind of rode his coattails for
Absolutely not. So, I freaked out at the airport after they got the Salesperson of the Year. I was in Miami, like, oh my God, I don't even know how I did this really. But and people, it's just me being me. I was just myself. I was just a regular person. I didn't really push anybody. I didn't ask anybody to buy anything. Why complain about that? I didn't push anybody and ask them to buy Gurkha. I didn't anything. Eventually, it just bought. Like, I've seen you enough times. Let me just buy a cigar from you, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it was like, it just grew kind of organically. But I think it was just me being me and just not being the pushy person and being everywhere and just showing up. And showing up actually counts for a lot, really. I mean, most people, you know, they don't see anybody. And some shops are like, oh man, I showed them in some woods some places, and they're like, well, we ain't seen a rep in 10 years. I'm like, oh wow, I barely got here myself, but I'm glad I got. So
yeah, but I think it's important too when you go to these lounges and you're teaching also not just like, you know, patrons that come in, but like the staff that works there to be able to help sell the cigars as well. Because if some salespeople that work at cigar lounges don't even know half of the cigars they're selling, nothing about the profile or anything. So,
and that's what the point of keep showing up. And even when I do events, I notice that I keep saying things, and then when I have a person working in the store, I can start hearing them sound like me. So they're like, oh, this one here, it's Nicaraguan. This one is, they would get the basic knowledge, but they hear me say it enough times that they get it. And that helps them sell the product as well. I agree with you. But at least for the days that I'm there, or for the period of time that I'm at a shop, you don't have to, the one cigar you don't have to worry about is my cigar. You know, I'm going to do the education. I'm going to answer all the tough questions. I go to a shop occasionally that doesn't carry us and won't carry us because the customers are against it. But we have those tough conversations, and I keep coming back. And we have a conversation. Some of those shops that I've done that with, it worked, and some did not. But you know, I'm fine with that also. But I do like to sit down and have and talk to the customers about what we have. And it's funny because some of them are curious, but they just won't. They say, "No, I'm never going to smoke it again." But that's fine. But they are curious. What do they got new then? You know, like your cigars are shitty, but what do you got new? Well, why do you want to know what we got new, right? So, but I get it, you know, they got to hold their ground. But I do like talking about my cigars, talking about the cigars, talking about the brand that I represent. And I think that people appreciate that because they don't have to worry about it for that day. And it doesn't have to be, the little guy counted, and I did it in reverse. So I was told the 80-20, focus on the 20, forget about the rest, you know. But I went out and saw everybody. And those people, it grew. My big customers didn't buy anything usually for me that year. So it was all the little people that got together and blew me out the frame. So I appreciate them. So I'm not going to leave them dry, high and dry, but I do have a more of an expectation from them. But you just got to show up and talk to people like they're people, like they matter, you know, and that goes a long way.
Well, it does. And then especially if you keep coming back, even if shop owners keep saying no, but you keep coming back. You know, eventually, you know, maybe in my mind, it'd be like, hey, this is a rep. I'm not buying anything from her. And she keeps coming back. She believes in her brand, you know, so.
I have one that's 2 years now, and he's finally said, I'm ready, you know, so it's kind of, you know, it could be one, but it's so rewarding. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a bunch of wins, you know. Somebody else is 80, you're 20 there. Somebody else is, you're there 80 and someone, you know, 20. And so, you know, and you flip flop, and if you don't show up, you lose your space, you know. And so it's in that showing up does go a long way, but it is rewarding. Like being in the police department, I had one person say, thank you so much. You know, you shook the living crap out of me. And then I went to school and I did the right thing. And it was one person and a career, and it means so much, and it goes a long way. So sometimes, you know, those tough ones are the ones that really make you feel like you're doing something good, you know?
Yeah. And then I'm sure there's a shop like, listen, how many boxes do I have to buy if you stop coming back? I'll buy 5 boxes. Please don't.
Right. Basically, that's what it is. 5 and 1. Okay. Yes. 5.
That's it. I will never come back. And then a month later, I'm back.
But I'm in the shop, and the customer's like, I like Gurkha, I like Gurkha, I like Gurkha, I like Gurkha. But the shop owner's like, never again. And I'm like, okay. Well,
yeah, it
is. Like, well, you could give my customers Gurkha, but I'm like, I'm not going to give your customers Gurkha because they have no potential to buy Gurkha. So why would I just hand out free cigars to your customers? It makes sense.
Yeah. So that, you know, so they can go to your competitor, you know.
There's no benefit to you if I do that. So.
Exactly. So,
or me.
Yeah, or you. That's it. Or Juan, you know, or the company, you know. So. So, Kerr, any final thoughts, questions for Tanya before we let her go for the night?
Well, the only question I had was kind of building on what you did, and winning the award and coming in with your second year. Have there been any lessons learned now that you're kind of where you are and looking back on where you started?
Yeah, you can't say yes to everybody. You can't be everywhere. I mean, some weeks I'm in 5 states, in that week, 5 days. You want to be everywhere for everybody, but you can't do that. You just wear yourself thin. I'm driving home like, I want to stop. I can't. I want to be home in my bed, but I can't. So it's can't be everywhere. Have some value in yourself, and then it's okay to people. You keep showing up for them. It's okay to ask for them to show up. And so I'm at that point now where I'm like, okay, this is what I've done. You know what I've done. What are you gonna do now? Because it's kind of like a back and forth. You have some people who play, the 20 do play the game. They order consistently. They do what they're supposed to do. And the 80 have to be forced. But I'm like, I keep showing up. I'm doing events. I'm giving stuff away. Your customers want that. So you want me to keep showing up. Some shops are like, they want you there every month. And it's just like, okay. But I have to come here to show up for you to order. So now I have to put more value in myself. Like, I'm not going to keep coming here doing events if I have to force you to buy. So it's kind of like I have to let some of that be on you, so yeah, it's a learning thing. And I hate to ask for the sale, but that's what I'm there for. I'm a sales manager. I'm like, I feel like you know what you need. You run your shop. I ran a shop, so I know that when it was time to order, I ordered. But some of the shops don't keep back stock. They just buy what they have and they just run out and that's it. So it's kind of tough because I was on top of that. So dealing with customers that are not that way, it's difficult. But you gotta, teach them how you want things to go. And if they I hate to lose customers, so.
Exactly. But sometimes you have to, in my industry, the automotive industry, I mean, we do have to teach our customers. We have to train our customers. And then every now and then, we don't like to use the word. Every now and then we got to fire our customers. It's like, what, this has just become too much. It's too much of a headache. It's just, for the $280 a year, I think you might be better off, with somebody else.
Yeah. But I'm a hopeless optimist. Like, I just feel like I can see the best of anybody. Like, they're going to be better. And they were like, this person's going to cut your throat. What are you doing? Like, but I'm like, you gotta, there's gotta be some inkling of niceness in people, but sometimes it's not the case. Some of these people are very, ruthless, and it's, crazy, but you gotta say no, and that's hard.
That's it. Sometimes you just gotta say no. Tanya, we want to thank you for coming on and spending, now that I know how busy you are, I feel bad for taking up almost 2 hours of your Monday night. I'm like, you could have visited 3 lounges by now. So
no, it's Monday and we're actually off because we get a couple of days off a year. And so, yeah, I didn't visit any shops today. So I just, I thought about it, but I didn't. And so, but yeah, it's, no, I always love doing this. I was a little intimidated by live interviews because, you try to surprise Juan, like, with that person. I was like, I don't want to see nobody I know on this show. Okay. I'm like, we want somebody to tell a story about Tanya. I'm like, which story is it gonna be?
Yeah. Which one? So
which one? But hey, everything that you to this point made you. So people want to travel with me. People they think I'm great. They love me, and so, as a person, so it's come out of the scope of Gurkha. So I think that whatever you like about me, whatever happened, whatever I've been through to this point, created this person. So, I got to face the music. If somebody comes on and says, hey, I know a story. Yeah, but I live interviews, I'm like always worried. So I was gonna be like, what happened? So yeah,
exactly. And for people watching tonight, watching in the future, these are obviously on replays. People listening to the podcast, this will be up online, in a couple weeks on the podcast. If you haven't tried Gurkha, give them a shot. Don't listen to your buddy that says, Gurkha is bad, or don't listen to the stories that happened 3 years ago. When you're smoking a Gurkha, when you're supporting Tanya, you're supporting, even if you're not in her territory, you're helping her, keep her job. You're supporting, Juan Lopez, you're supporting the people in the factories making the cigars. So don't listen to the negativity.
Yeah.
Try a cigar. If you like it, smoke another one. If you don't like it, smoke another one. Try a different one, and then make that decision for yourself. Don't let social media, don't let anybody else, because this is just another cigar company, and with people, that have mouths to feed. I mean, realistically, helping Tanya and helping Gurkha, that helps me. That helps the show. Juan's a good friend of mine, and that it all comes around. So when you're helping one company, you realistically are helping the entire industry.
Yeah. And it's the answer to the ultimate question of what do you have new? Well, have you tried this? It's fucking new.
That's it. If you haven't tried it, it's new to you.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new cigars in a humidor when I walk in.
That's it.
Exactly. And I was surprised too, going to Gurkha and just seeing behind the scenes, and because of course Baltimore and Atlanta was two of the big places that there was an outrage about Gurkha, but going to see them and all the people behind the scenes, and when I did my visit this year for the sales meeting, I took pictures of so many old guys in the factory working. They don't believe in retirement at 65. It's like 80, and they're back there, and older people in general. And there were hardly anybody white there, but there's so many people of different races and nationalities, and it was just nice to see that everybody was working, and they believed in everyone, not just, we're gonna look out for, everybody. It was no age, it was no sex, it was no race, it wasn't represented, and I thought that was pretty cool. It's just something that people don't know, and they just assume. I get people approach me saying all the time, that white guy said da da da, and I'm like, what white guy?
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting, but always good to revisit brands and try them out and see if anything's changed.
That's it. Revisit those old brands. That's what I did all of 2020. Revisited all the old brands that I hadn't smoked in forever, and fell in love with some great cigars
you
again.
Also, for a while there, you did like a whole thing of just different Gurkha cigars.
Yeah, I did a whole series. The one series I did was all of the cellar reserves, and I did every single one of them. Like I said, loved them all. I think there was one that wouldn't hit my palate just right, but they all smoked good. They all burned well, but it's like every other cigar manufacturer, not going to like everything they make.
No.
So. All right, Tanya, thank you so much.
Thanks,
and for coming on. We definitely appreciate it.
Thank you guys. You're great. I really appreciate you. And I'm a horrible listener. So I was like, I'm going to talk all over everybody. But, I didn't do too much of that. Tell Jess I'm sorry. I cut her off a couple times. So.
Oh, you're fine.
I don't play well in the sandbox. So my brain's moving so fast. I'm like, I got to say something.
It's okay. I'm okay with that because I'm used to it because I'm from Jersey. Kevin is not used. Well, Kevin doesn't like it, and Kerr's used to it because he lives with another Jersey
I'm not used
girl.
to it.
Yeah,
I'm not used to it.
Yeah,
it's like saying you can hit me because I get beat every day. I'm used to it. I ain't used to it.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right, Tanya, you have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right, everybody start typing in the word cigar for our giveaway for tonight. And then in the meantime, we'll hear a word from our sponsor, Corona Cigar. All right, it's time for the Tapping Ash and Taking Names giveaway presented by Amendola Family Cigars. Tonight's winner is going to get the May 2023 Corona Premium Cigar of the Month Club shipment. This one's got a Monte Cristo Classic, a Casa 1910, a Howard G. Black Moses, fantastic cigar, the Plasencia Almafuerte, and the new Cohiba Riviera. That cigar was amazing. So that cigar was crazy. That MSRP on that cigar, $400 for a box of 20. And the winner tonight is actually going to get one in this pack. So let me share my screen here. I forgot to type in the keyword here. So, all right. Which I see that on Jessica's screen. There it is. Start collecting comments. 21 entries. All right. All right, Mumra just won. So so I'm gonna draw again. He just won recently. So good timing there.
Ugh.
And D-Boy just won last week.
I know. I was gonna say.
Yes, man.
Here, hold on. Let me type in cigar real quick.
Yeah, I know here. So. Ronnie Asia, again, there's no way Ronnie would have me draw again. This is the first time we've ever gone more than two.
Just saying, I've had this happen to me.
All right, we're gonna draw one more time.
I've had this happen to me. I had somebody yell at me.
Oh my God. This is a new Roger just won. Roger just
Down
won.
goes Frazier.
I know. Like I said, I can't believe how many times. Okay. The winning Giannis has won by default. There we go. You just said it earlier.
I was like, there's some weird.
That's how long it took for the winning Giannis. It took 6 people, but then the hashtag winning Giannis has finally won. Kevin at Cigar.
Congratulations.
Shoot me over your email address. So, I see.
Roger's saying he hasn't won for a long time.
Yeah, it was it's for like the previous month. So there's like a 6 to 8 week that you can't win. Just so we get new people. Sorry, Roger. So now I'll get Risty and Ronnie reaching. Hey, Ronnie, I want my pack.
Risty and Ronnie, you have an argument. I'm just saying, you have an argument.
Yeah, you have an argument. All right,
you got to call Jess.
All right, so next week we welcome Lauren Coper from McAuliffe Cigars to the show. If you follow McAuliffe Cigars on the social media, you know who Lauren is. She creates some fantastic comments, especially for the Instagram Reels, TikTok. Make sure you're following Cigar Prop producer Jessica, Kerr Viajante of Stogie Road Cigars, Gurkha Tanya, and Gurkha. All the social media links are in the video description below. So give everybody a follow on the social medias. Also in the show notes are the social media links for our partners. Thank you once again to them for making this show happen each and every week. So thank you to JC Newman Cigars, CigarMedics, Amendola Cigars. We are the muscle. Jake Wyatt Cigars, Illusione Cigars, deep in flavor, deep in your mind. K by Karen Berger Cigars, Corona Cigar, and of course Drew Estate and Experience Acid. Tanya, we're going to bring you back up here in a second after the show is over. Kerr, leave us with some final thoughts for tonight.
Don't believe the hype. If you go into a humidor, you haven't tried Gurkha, give it a try. Talk to your tobacconist and find out which of those cigars may fit your palate. Like I said, the humidor has a lot of selections, and if you ask the question, what's new, there's a lot in there.
There's a lot in it. Tell them Gurkha Tanya sent you.
Yes.
And you will get a 10% discount on just use code Juan Lopez. All right. We'll see everybody next week.